Hello, and welcome to A Brand New Day with BTS, a podcast dedicated to bringing you a day-by-day history and song discussion of the South Korean music group internationally known as BTS. It's time for a Bangtan Christmas as we discuss what BTS have been up to each Christmas in their career, and then discuss the non-Christmassy but very iconic Blood, Sweat, and Tears. First, recent BTS activity, December 4th to December 19th. My episodes are so uneven since I decided to do Jin's birthday, then wait 3 weeks and do Christmas, then wait just 1 week and do V's birthday. So sorry about that. I might not have really thought it through. Anyway, as a result of that planning, such that it is, I'm cutting the news off at December 19th. Anything that happens after that will be discussed in V's birthday episode. We might have a comeback or a tour announcement by then. Who knows? Maybe. Who knows? Perhaps. So, what have BTS been up to since December 4th? Jin did a Weverse Live for his birthday. He did it from the practice room lounge at Hybe while he waited for the other members to arrive for practice that day. All these years later, Jin is still arriving early to practice so that he can get more time in than the others. Jin also talked about one of JK's cooking live streams that happened the day before, saying that Jin feels somewhat bad that he always approaches ARMY in a formal way and wants to do more informal stuff too, but it's difficult for him. He also talked about the Encore concerts last month, the fact that he still has horrible eating habits when he games, or really not eating habits. And he also talked about how BTS meet up for dance practice every day, but end up chatting instead of dancing a lot of the time. We also got a few posts from the members about the first snow that happened on Jin's birthday, and also their Spotify Wrapped list, or artist Wrapped list. 2 days later, on December 6th, RM went live to talk about how frustrating the pressure is right now on BTS and that people don't seem to understand the changing nature of both the group and RM's own leadership position as they get older, become adults, and have their own lifestyles, hopes, and dreams. This live was also done around the time that the media and Hybe's enemies were having a field day with JK dating rumors or some such nonsense. So RM was also offended at the insinuation that he should handle the members a certain way when they're all adults. RM went on to say that, as many know, at one point BTS were at risk of stopping due to those kinds of things, as he said, meaning the stupid media play and the pressure, and that's just my opinion on what those kinds of things are, and that RM is just grateful now that they're all together and want to continue together and are so happy now continuing their job. Really, the live stream was about making it clear that RM can't speak for the other members, the company, or tell people the reason behind their decisions, beyond that there are reasons behind their decisions, and that people need to shut the hell up, demanding that he talk about things he can't talk about, or that they suddenly pull content out of thin air as though creation doesn't take time and they don't need any practice before they can perform again, despite being in the military for 2 years. Basically, unreasonable expectations are unreasonable, and people should shut up and be patient, and they'll be rewarded with good stuff. Of course, after the live stream, the media, horrible as it is, took things out of context, and people online circulated clips out of context, and much like the Festa 2022 dinner, though not as extreme, a lot of misinformation got out there. So RM posted an apology 2 days later on Weverse and said he was sorry for worrying people, but the frustration had to come out at that time. In happier news, though, RM has gotten his driver's license. I'm jumping ahead a little bit here, but he reported in the full group BTS Live on December 16th that he has successfully passed his driving test. He has no plans to drive or even buy a car, but it was a personal mission of his to at least be licensed to drive now that he's in his 30s. So he's very happy that he achieved his goal. ARMY, of course, planned to stream his song Nuts if he passed, and so that's what they did as a little nod to him being a pro rider now. On the same night as RM's live stream, Jimin successfully cooked pasta based on Jin's recipe and was very proud of himself. RM wanted some, so Jimin promised to cook it for him next time. V posted photos and a vlog from the trip he took to Hawaii with his Wuga Squad friends. It's just a 5-minute vlog of mostly vibes because this was a private trip and not business like the trip to Vogue World in LA, for which we got a 40-minute vlog. In Suga news, the Mind Band from the Min Yoongi Treatment Center had their first ever concert. ARMY who attended report that it was an absolutely lovely night, and you could tell how happy the kids were performing. Because it's a children's concert, there are no videos or photos from the event for their protection. But you can read fan text reports of the evening, and Yoongi sent a video message that was played before the concert began, and you can find clips of that around. Both J-Hope and JK are appearing on magazines lately. J-Hope is on Elle Korea, and JK is on both Rolling Stone and Elle Korea. JK also remembered he had an Instagram account and shared RM's post about having dinner at Jungkook's house, and also posted a selfie. Another person who resurrected their Instagram account for a second was Suga, who posted a mirror selfie with Jimin in the practice room just before RM posted a mirror selfie of everyone, and V posted a full posed mirror selfie of the group as they all practiced. JK did another live stream from his streaming setup, mostly chatting about the album with very, very limited spoilers. The spoilers we did get were it's long, it's good, and it has about 3 to 4 performance tracks. Other than that, JK mostly just listened to tunes. Then, as I mentioned, after group practice, BTS did a full group live, a short one, but a delightful one. They are eagerly awaiting the comeback announcement because they really want to talk about the album with ARMY and sing the songs. And of course, Are You Sure Season 2 has continued to air each week on Disney+. It'll be wrapped up by the time you're listening to this, or shortly after you finish listening to this. But at the time of recording, the last 2 episodes haven't been released yet. And that's it for that reporting period. I know other things have happened. I think just after this cutoff period is when Jin, Jungkook, and V went live, and then there's another group live, and all that fun stuff that happened between me deciding where my news cutoff was and me actually recording the script. But I'm going to talk about those in the next episode. This day in BTS history, December 25th. Just a reminder for both the recent activity and the history section of this podcast, I only use officially released information or things that the members themselves have told us. And I say that because I'm about to start in the year 2000 with Baby RM, otherwise known as Namjoon, with information that adult Namjoon told us in a story, which is how I know it. Otherwise, I would seem like a really dedicated stalker. So, December 25th, 2000. Namjoon is on vacation with his family and cries because he thinks Santa won't be able to find him, but he wakes up to a present on his bedside table. He's 6. So that gives us a little clue as to how long Namjoon believed in Santa Claus. Now, let's jump ahead to the pre-debut years. December 25th, 2010. It's J-Hope's first full day in Seoul. He moved into the dorm just the night before. At this point, BTS, or what would possibly become BTS, are all rappers. There's around 7 of them now, including J-Hope. December 25th, 2012. Jumping ahead 2 years, BTS looks like the BTS we know today. The final lineup has already been decided, and it's the 7 members made of 3 rappers and 4 vocalists that we know and love today. This December isn't a smooth one for all of them, though. At one point, likely around mid-December, Suga gets hit by a car while moonlighting as a delivery driver on a moped or delivery bike, however you want to call them. He suffers a dislocated shoulder, but panics that he's going to be kicked out of the group, so he keeps it a secret in the hopes that it miraculously gets better. Being so young, he probably can't tell how severe the injury is, so doesn't know that he really needs to get proper medical attention for it. Instead, he falls into what is likely an anxiety-fueled depression and locks himself in his room for 2 weeks, not even washing, and becomes afraid to leave the house. Obviously, we know this all has a happy ending, with Suga getting the help and support he needs from Big Hit, his family, and the BTS members, but this was likely a very bad Christmas for our beloved Yoongi, and his bad end-of-year luck, as we'll see, continues to plague him for the next few years as well. What pre-debut ARMY see on this day, however, are the 2 announced members, RM and Jin, being active on Twitter as though nothing at all is amiss. December 25th, 2013. It's BTS's first Christmas after debut. Suga tweets a selfie wishing everyone a Merry Christmas. Jin also tweets about Christmas, and BTS release their Christmas edition of Cool FM 06.13 on their YouTube channel. It was likely filmed between December 18th and 24th, but I'm not exactly sure when. In the video, they use their radio show style format to talk about their Christmas plans and the upcoming end of year shows, as well as Suga's recovery progress. What is Suga recovering from this year, you ask? Appendicitis. He'd come down with it while on tour in Japan at the beginning of the month, and again, instead of seeking medical attention immediately in Japan, he flew back to Korea in order to access the Korean healthcare system. My guess was that this was done in an attempt to save money, but everyone, please don't ever fly with appendicitis. Flying causes physiological changes to your body that can make things like appendicitis worse. Based on what Suga has said about this event, my guess is that his appendix actually burst before he could get it removed, making it a much worse medical emergency than it necessarily needed to be. As a result, he got an internal infection and had to be readmitted to the hospital the day after Christmas this year. So, yes, although he was not in the hospital on Christmas, if he had an active infection in his abdomen, I doubt it was a particularly Merry Christmas for him. December 25th, 2014. Thankfully, Suga is finally healthy this year and performing along with everyone else on the M Countdown Christmas special. We also get the SoundCloud release of Jimin and Jungkook's song Christmas Day, which is a rewrite of Justin Bieber's song Mistletoe, with Jimin having written the new Korean lyrics. BTS also released another Cool FM 06.13 Christmas radio show. This one is truly voice radio, which they recorded earlier in the month on December 10th. RM makes a couple of recommendations in the radio show. First, he recommends the book 11 p.m. by Hong Kwang-shin, which captures his emotions well. He talks about how people make fun of those who are emotional, but that's unhealthy for society because it discourages the very emotionality that informs art, music, and enriches the world. RM also recommends Love Yours by J. Cole, which is a song that talks about how you should love yourself, take care of yourself, and don't compare yourself to others. And of course, because they performed on this day, Twitter is full of selfies from the members and thank yous to ARMY. December 25th, 2015. BTS traveled to Japan on Christmas Day in 2015. They're planning to do their HYYH on-stage concert in Kobe, Japan. Unfortunately, Suga's bad health luck will strike again during those shows, but that hasn't happened yet. Instead, we get a lot of Merry Christmas tweets. JK had released his cover of Paper Hearts the day before, so there are also tweets about that. And the boys appear on a pre-recorded Ariarang Simply K-pop. December 25th, 2016. Christmas Day in 2016 is a day off between two performance-heavy days, with MBC Music Core Christmas Special the day before and SBS SAF Gayo Daejin the day after. This is the year they're promoting with Blood, Sweat, and Tears, which I'll talk about a little later. But speaking of blood, Suga isn't performing with them because earlier in the month he tripped in the dorm and split his left ear open on a piece of furniture or a door jamb on his way down. He's okay, but while it heals, he can't wear in-ears, which means he can't perform. So with all of these performances surrounding Christmas, everyone except Suga is probably pretty tired on Christmas Day. We do get a bunch of Twitter activity though. V tweets a video of himself recording Have Yourself a Merry Little Christmas. Jin tweets a childhood photo that he forgot to tweet at the end of his Jinsta week for his birthday. Jimin tweets a video of himself making fun of V. RM tweets selfie videos with Santa Claus filters, and J-Hope and Jimin tweet selfies and selfie videos with funny filters, respectively, as well. December 25th, 2017. BTS perform at SBS Gayo Daejin again, and this time Suga is able to perform with them for the first time ever at this particular event, because they were always only invited when he happened to have health problems. You can see the behind the scenes of this performance in episode BTS at 2017 SBS Gayo Daejun on the Bangtan TV YouTube channel, or Bangtan Subs YouTube channel if you want subtitles. Jimin, Suga, RM, and Jin all tweet selfies with Christmas wishes. Overall, though, BTS are pretty overworked and exhausted this particular Christmas, and it's also a very rough month for the K-pop community as a whole, but in particular those who are friends with the group SHINee, like BTS are. Being so overworked, it will eventually lead into a rough January, which I talk about in an episode of my Patreon only podcast that I release a couple of times per year, just to plug my own Patreon for a second. I do that podcast more often if I had more patrons who suggested topics, but I'm actually kind of bad at coming up with topics myself, as it turns out. So my Patreon is mostly just there in case you want to float me a few dollars to be nice. Now, why am I mentioning the traumatic bad times? Because I want to contrast them with the next year. That's why. December 25th, 2018. BTS have come out the other side of a rough year. Yay! They're stronger than ever, mentally healthier, and still working hard. On this day, they once again perform on SBS Christmas Gayo Live. You can watch the behind the scenes on the Bangtan TV YouTube channel in episode BTS at 2018 SBS Gayo Daejun, as well as see their performances in the Bangtan Bomb BTS focused stage cams of Idol Special Stage at 2018 Gayo Daejun and Title Medley Special Stage at 2018 Gayo Daejun. You can also watch the Bangtan Bombs released nearly 10 months later on October 25th, 2019 that were filmed on this night. It's called Snack Time at 18/12/25 SBS Gayo Daejun. Jimin, Hobi, Suga, and Jin all tweet selfies and Merry Christmas, and one of Hobi's selfies has me in it. The Bangtan Bomb surprise camera, Please Come Out Early, was also posted on this day, but I have no idea when it was filmed. So if anyone wants to watch and let me know if you recognize anything, please do so. December 25th, 2019. Another year, another SBS Gayo Daejun. Once again, you can see the behind the scenes in episode BTS at 2019 SBS Gayo Daejun. Hobi tweets selfies and video selfies and wishes everyone happy holidays, and Jimin tweets his thanks to Army 2. He is active on Weverse. At the time, BTS is kind of like they are currently gearing up for an epic world tour that had just been announced. Sadly, even though trouble had already started in nearby China, no one was predicting the global pandemic that was to come and ruin all their plans. December 25th, 2020. The pandemic can ruin a lot of things, but one thing that's hard to squash is the existence of Christmas Day, SBS Gayo Daejun. This time in Daegu, though really all performances were pre-filmed on sound stages due to the pandemic. I don't know exactly when these performances were filmed, I only know when they aired, but you can see the behind the scenes in episode BTS at 2020 Gayo Daejun and Bangtan Bomb Black Swan Stage Cam BTS Focus at 2020 SBS Gayo Daejun. Suga is once again absent, this time because he's recovering from the surgery he needed to help repair his shoulder nearly 8 years after he originally injured it. It had done pretty good for the first 5 years of his career, but all the dancing had taken a toll and he needed further medical intervention in order to regain better use of his left arm and hopefully lessen the amount of pain he's in while performing and living life. So even though we once again spend Christmas without Suga, it's for good reasons ultimately. Suga might be absent from the performance, but he's active on Weverse as it airs, and that's where we get his iconic reaction to realizing that they had a snowman stand in for him. The other fun thing about this particular Christmas is it's when V releases his song Snowflower featuring Peak Boy. He released it with a letter explaining that he knows gloomy feelings can grow in winter, so he's released the song in the hopes to cheer people up. In it, he includes ad-libs inspired in part by the film As Good As It Gets, which was one of my favorites when I was younger, so that was really cool. Hobi posts on BTS's official TikTok account with Jimin, V, and Jin. Jimin tweets photos from the Life Goes On music video shoot and happy holiday greetings. V is active on Weverse talking about Snowflower and playing around with ARMY by having them only talk as though they're in historical dramas. And RM tweets his own Christmas greetings and selfies and tells everyone to stay safe at home. And Jin also tweets selfies and holiday greetings. December 25th, 2021. The boys are well into their months-long proper vacation after successfully finishing their Permission to Dance concerts in LA earlier that month. Unfortunately, Suga's luck strikes again, and although he successfully returned to Korea after traveling in the States for a bit, he must have caught COVID on the plane or right before he boarded because he tested positive on Christmas Eve. Lee-hyun, BTS's big hit music senior artist, mentions Suga on his live stream that day and says that he spoke with him and Suga said that he was fine and it just felt like a cold. We later find out that Suga was completely lying and he felt absolutely horrible, but hey, nice of him to put on a brave face for his friend. Not to be outdone, RM and Jin test positive for COVID on Christmas Day itself. RM was just on the final day of his quarantine of all times, which means he's now in it for even longer quarantine, which is a very big problem when you're an extrovert like RM and need to go out in order to feel happy. Jin's personality is likely a little bit better to deal with being trapped in his house, as he does that frequently voluntarily. Jimin posts a photo of himself in snowfall on his Instagram account, and V uses his new Instagram account to wish his friend Chae Woo-shik a Merry Christmas. Just the day before, V's song Christmas Tree had been released as an OST for Woo-shik's drama Our Beloved Summer. December 25th, 2022. While the previous year he may have come down with COVID, this year it's Jin's first Christmas enlisted. He's still in boot camp, so he's working very hard. We're well into chapter 2 by now, so everyone is doing their own thing. On Instagram, RM posts a screenshot of Omega Sapien, a bombing tiger on the P6 show. He also posts a photo of his workout on the day and says, Merry Christmas. Hobie posts a photo of Traffic and then makes a surprise appearance at Crush's concert to perform Rush Hour with him. He posts a photo of himself and Crush backstage afterwards. December 25th, 2023. We're back to the time when I have to say that everyone is enlisted, so there is no activity on this day. They're all working hard, either at boot camp, like the 4 youngest members, at their social work job, like Suga, or in their drill sergeant roles, like Jin and Hobie. But don't worry, it's the last Christmas that Jin and Hobie have to spend in the military. December 25th, 2024. Jin and Hobie are free. Hobie is active on Instagram, posting festive photos of himself and wishing everyone Merry Christmas. RM uses his phone time to post his recent running times and wish everyone happy holidays. He also recommends Party and Bullshit by Notorious B.I.G. V uses his phone time to share Park Ho-shin's episode of Salon Drip and says he enjoyed watching it at the military dorms. And that brings us to this year, December 25th, 2025. All the members are now free from enlistment for the first Christmas since 2021. I'm hoping for his own sake that Suga has a lovely Christmas. And since I'm recording this before Christmas, I'm wondering if we're going to get any tour announcement like we did near Christmas 2019. If we don't, then definitely those will come close to or just after New Year's. Song discussion, Blood, Sweat, and Tears. This song is a little bit intimidating, I'm not going to lie. And it's especially intimidating when I already have a long script written out and haven't even gotten to the song yet. But here we go. Blood, Sweat, and Tears is the lead single off of BTS's 2016 album Wings, which was the first full-length album since the HYYH era, which was their breakout era that finally saw them getting positive reception in South Korea. So, needless to say, it was an important album. So what did they do? They went conceptual. The album Wings, and especially Blood, Sweat, and Tears, directly draws from the novel Damien by Hermann Hesse. The novel is a Bildungsroman, originally published in 1919 in German. It follows the life of its protagonist, Emile Sinclair, from boyhood to soldier in the First World War. It explores the themes of temptation and whether Sinclair's exploration of an alternative life and philosophy outside of his strict upbringing is a fall from grace or a rebirth into enlightenment. Much like the later Map of the Soul albums, Damien has a very strong influence of Jungian philosophy and new to the times field of psychoanalysis. So, on that note, let's talk about the music video first. There are a lot of cool videos out there on interpreting the Blood, Sweat, and Tears music video. And rather than just rehash those, I'm going to talk broadly about my own interpretations. So forgive me if this ends up being a little all over the place. I'm going to talk about broad themes and inspirations and not so much discuss the music video in chronological order. I'll be hopping around as I discuss different elements in it. There's not, in my opinion, just one character playing the part of Emile Sinclair or Damien for that matter. Instead, I feel that all the boys are playing a part in the story. However, Jin takes on the main portrayal of conflict, starting with the opening scene in the museum, where we see him staring at a painting of the battle between heaven and hell while standing between two doors, one outlined in white and one in black. These symbolize a major theme in Damien, which is the struggle between two worlds: the world of religion, the strictness of his childhood home, and the second world of temptation, excess, death, pleasure, and everything you can find in reality. And in this sense, the struggle isn't so much between good and evil, though it feels that way. It's the struggle between living in an illusion or confronting the real world with all of its gray lines and unclear morality. If the most beautiful moment in life showcased BTS leaving boyhood, then Blood, Sweat, and Tears is BTS in Sinclair's teenage college life, encountering the temptation of drink, of other mind-altering substances, lust, or other temptations, and finding teachers to guide them through this new world. There are also references to Icarus throughout the music video, notably in JK's scenes, where he hangs suspended in the air as though falling, while surrounded by feathers. For those that don't know, Icarus is a Greek myth that follows the story of an inventor and his son Icarus, when, in an attempt to escape a prison by the sea, the inventor builds wings held together with wax so that they can fly from the tower they're kept in. The father warns Icarus, the son, not to fly too low because the seawater will weigh down the wings, and also not to fly too high because the heat of the sun will melt the wax. But ultimately, Icarus doesn't heed the warning, and in an attempt to see how high he can fly, his wings melt and he falls to his death. This is also referenced in the scene in the music video where V jumps off the balcony. The painting in front of him that he jumps into, of the sky and the sea, is a depiction of the day Icarus fell. Icarus is often used as a warning against excessive ambition. Though I do want to point out that one of my favorite poems, Failing and Flying by Jack Gilbert, posits the idea that it may still have been worth it, and that Icarus may not have failed, but simply come to the end of his triumph. My mother, however, hates that poem because she always saw the myth of Icarus as a warning that you should listen to your parents. Anyway, besides the point, or is it? But this script is already long enough. We see the repeated motif of wings throughout the music video, either Icarus's shredded wings, the black wings of Abraxas, or in the end, the scars left behind from V losing his wings, a symbol of the idea of a fallen angel who has perhaps chosen the real world over the strictness of heaven. We also see the repeated motif of temptation and how long we can resist it. RM and JK are enjoying green-tinged substances, either a green drink, perhaps referencing things like the alcoholic drink absinthe, which in its original recipe caused mind-altering hallucinations, or we see them breathing out green smoke, which could be a reference to good old Mary Jane, which is seen now in North America as a somewhat innocuous recreational substance, but is very strictly, absolutely forbidden in South Korea. The lyrics, of course, only reference alcohol, but I'll get into the lyrics in a little bit. The other reference to temptation is the abstention from it, which we see in the scenes of Jimin having his eyes bound, holding an apple. The apple, of course, has become a symbol of temptation in culturally Christian literary work, but notably in the novel Damien, it's also a reference to lying, as Sinclair lies about stealing apples, and this is ultimately what leads to his downfall from being the model child and leads him to Damien, who is his first guide into this new spiritual awakening. We see Jimin blindfolded, but the blindfold is tied to a closed door behind him, restricting him completely from advancing in life. And ultimately, he takes off the blindfold only to reveal that even underneath it, he had begun to change despite the efforts not to. Towards the end of the music video, the music cuts out and we get a quote directly from Damien, or rather a quote directly from Sinclair about the character Damien and the temptation that he represented as Sinclair tried to cling to his childhood innocence. After the quote, we return with Suga playing the part of Pistorius, an organist that Sinclair meets in high school, who teaches him how to look inward to determine his own path rather than looking to other people to set standards or dictate his spiritual journey, while simultaneously doing the most to educate Sinclair on the Gnostic god Abraxas. Abraxas represents both light and dark, good and evil. Abraxas is a deity that unites the two worlds that Sinclair had thought separate. In the music video, Suga is playing the same piece of music that Pistorius plays the first time Sinclair meets him. We also get a cool quote from Nietzsche in the music video, seen over the mirror that Jin approaches towards the end, after he kisses the dark-winged androgynous statue and thus fully cracks the foundation of his childhood, and chaotic color begins to make its way into the previously orderly world. The Nietzsche quote is, "Man muss noch Chaos in sich haben, einen tanzenden Stern gebären zu können," which translates to, "One must still have chaos in oneself in order to be able to give birth to a dancing star." Basically, if you avoid the chaos of reality in favor of the peace of an illusion, you'll never be able to reach your full potential, whether that's potential as an artist or the potential of your own freedom and happiness. Temptation, then, isn't just about indulgence in substance, lust, or life, but also the temptation to not indulge, to play it too safe, for fear of the chaos those things may bring. If you think solely of love, one might argue, and I say this as someone who has chosen to remain single, that avoiding love allows you to avoid pain, the pain of betrayal, the pain of love lost, but it also means that you will never know the joy of love, the richness of life that love can bring you, even if it inevitably is too brief. Growing up can be a terrifying thing as you spread your wings and fly, and you may constantly be at war with whether you are making the correct decisions as you come across the moral and ethical questions in life and have to debate whether or not you obey your upbringing or follow your own heart and moral compass as you navigate them. Do you play it safe with the illusion of a black and white world of your childhood and its rules, or do you strike out and find your own path? And do you do so even if that runs the risk of flying too high and falling into the sea? Again, I think that's why Icarus is so incorporated into this music video. As Icarus falls, is he failing to obey his father, or is he simply coming to the end of his triumph? This episode is already too long, so I won't talk about choreography or notable performances for too long. The choreography matches the song theme, sensual and emphasizing both the desire to block out temptation and not face the world, and the desire to indulge in life's pain and pleasures, and in so doing, give birth to a dancing star. Jimin's start of the song, where he lifts it up, as the boys say when they discuss it, has become quite legendary. Hilariously, in 2019, when another group did a cover of Blood, Sweat, and Tears at an award show, Jimin's muscle memory kicked in, and a fan cam of him watching the performance showed him lifting his head with the music and then laughing at himself. Oh, another legendary moment in the music video that I should have mentioned on the subject of Jimin is the infamous shoulder reveal, where his jacket is knocked off his shoulder during one move and you can see his bare skin. In the music video reaction with the boys, they teased Jimin about it, and he claimed it was an accident, a meme that still survived to this day among ARMY, and you'll often see ARMY refer to such wardrobe-related shoulder reveals as accidents or Jimin accidents, or words to that effect, even if it's not Jimin. Another inside joke, which now I can't remember if it's BTS joke or a TXT joke, but it's calling the part of the dance just after Jimin's opening the "Where is my wallet" dance, most notably done by JK as he steps forward to replace Jimin in the center. Other highlights of the choreo is Jungkook doing a full slow motion, almost headstand plank, basically only using his upper body strength to mimic a fall head first in slow motion. It's pretty impressive. Other parts that I particularly enjoy are Yoongi choking V in a sexy manner, and the body rolls done during RM's Sweeter Than Sweet, Chocolate Cheeks and Chocolate Wings line, which in my memory was just JK and Yoongi, but apparently it's everyone, so that shows where my biases are right there. This dance practice is also a really good one if you like satisfying synchronized stomps and jumps. Also, Hobie looks amazing, in my opinion. Notable performances. There are so many performances because this is a title track back when they were doing multiple weeks of comeback shows, plus touring extensively. Obviously, the comeback shows are amazing. There's also a notable M Countdown show in which Yoongi and Hobie are wearing silk pajamas, and this has led to a very popular fan cam for reasons that are in theme for the song for sure. We'll just say that it's quite possible that Yoongi especially could have benefited from a dance belt. Another excellent performance is done at the 2016 Mama Awards, which you can watch on YouTube. It ends with V revealing the wings scars on his back for the entire audience, and then kind of mimicking Vampire making out with Jin's neck from behind as they're both on their knees being lowered below stage. It's, for a lack of a more nuanced word, very hot. Now let's get into lyrics, but just very, very briefly before I wrap up. Blood, Sweat, and Tears was produced by P-Dog and written by P-Dog, RM, Suga, J-Hope, Hitman Bang, and Kim Do-hoon. In RM's Wings Behind story, which you can find on Weverse or re-uploaded onto YouTube with English subs, he talks about being given this track and trying to write the melody and rap for it over 20 times. In the end, RM's version of the hook was rejected in favor of one we hear today, sung by J-Hope, the money, money, money part. And RM agrees that was the right call. But if you want to hear his version, you can watch the behind and he'll mimic it. RM also mentioned in his behind that Suga was worried Blood, Sweat, and Tears sounded too dirty. It's not as common a saying in Korea as it is in North America, at least if you interpret this as only referring to the title sounding dirty, but maybe he meant the whole song. The song itself can be interpreted as being enraptured by someone or something, so that you sacrifice your everything to it or to them. But that someone or something is an evil temptation, or at least leaves you feeling like you have given yourself over to a sweet yet evil temptation. The lyrics are very sensual. In the interest of time, I'll just tell you my favorite examples. Besides RM's Sweeter Than Sweet, Chocolate Cheeks, Chocolate Wings line. Baby, it's okay even if I get drunk. Now I drink you up, deep into my throat, a whiskey called you. Or another part. It's okay even if it hurts. Tie me up so that I can't run away. Grab me tight and shake me so that I can't come to my senses. And then Suga's second verse starts with, kiss me on the lips, lips, a secret between only the two of us. I get deeply addicted to a prison called you. I can't serve no one but you. I drank from the poisoned chalice, knowing it was poisoned. The chorus, that money, 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 that J-Hope sings so well, doesn't translate to money, 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 like a lot of English speakers mishear, but instead it means want it or want you more and more and more and more. The song is very self-aware that this person or thing they're addicted to, the thing that they're sacrificing their blood, sweat, and tears to, their last dance to, is going to be the ruin of them, but they're going to do it anyway. Is it because the temptation is too great, or is it because answering that call of temptation is the only way to discover what's on the other side of it, to grow, to learn, and to spread your wings and fly, even if it's painful? That's ultimately the theme of Wings. The growing pains that come with exiting the world of childhood and entering adulthood with all the love, lust, loss, and pain that comes with it. Next week, it will be V's birthday special. I'll try to have it posted by midnight on December 30th, Korean Standard Time. We'll be discussing Slow Dancing from V's first solo album. And that brings us to the end of this week's episode. If you'd like to discuss this episode, or next week's song, or have a say in what song gets chosen in the future, you can find me on Patreon and Ko-fi at A Brand New Day Pod. You can also find me on Blue Sky at A Brand New Day Pod, or you can email me at abrandnewdaypod@gmail.com. Thank you. Have a good day.